All right, well, let's get started. Thank you everyone for joining our webinar today. I'm Ben Victorica with KnowledgeNet, and I'm joined by Todd Twete. We'll give a detailed introduction when you get started in just a minute. Our goal today is to provide you an overview of how AI is impacting sales teams. First, Todd's going to give you an overview based on his experience and what he sees in the market. And then I'll provide you an overview and demonstration of KnowledgeNet. Then we'll go back to Todd for a little bit. And during the webinar, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A. We'll answer all the questions today. And then each of you will get a copy of the webinar or the recording afterwards. We look forward to a great session. Todd, if you'll go ahead and introduce yourself and take it from here.
Thanks, Ben. Great to be here with you today. For those of you that I don't know, I'm Todd Twete, Fractional VP of Sales at Sales Xceleration. As Ben just mentioned, I'm going to kind of queue up what Sales Xceleration is all about, how our clients use KnowledgeNet, and the all-important ICP, Ideal Client Profile, and why that's such an important sales tactic, and how KnowledgeNet helps with that. I got to go off on a quick little tangent. We got a lot to cover in half an hour, so I promise this is a quick tangent. But when Ben and I were having a preparatory conversation for today's webinar, for some reason we went down the memory lane trip, and I was telling Ben that first job out of college, I was literally handed the yellow pages as my prospect list. Here's your ICP list. Go chase these guys. And that led to this crazy conversation about no cell phones, no map apps. That's how we used to sell. And I think how that came up was, Ben, I was making a comment that I could make a really strong argument, a very compelling case, that nothing has impacted sales operations like AI has, like platforms like you have. And I compare and contrast that to, here, Todd, here's the yellow pages, go knock yourself out kind of thing, versus the capabilities we're going to talk about today. So it's a little uncanny. So Sales Xceleration, been around for a little over a decade. We've got over 6,000 clients, most of which are in the US, but there is a little bit of an international flavor to our clients. 5 to 50 million in revenue kind of tends to be our sweet spot in terms of the SMBs that we engage with. So I'm known as legally speaking, I'm known as a licensee of Sales Xceleration. I have my own LLC, my own sales consulting practice, but I am a licensee of Sales Xceleration. And there's about 200 of us. We're known as advisors, most of which are, again, scattered across the US, few in Canada. A couple of weeks ago, I chatted with a gentleman in the UK. When we're looking at the various advisory services that we deliver, it's kind of all over the gamut. Somewhat stereotypically speaking, you've got these small business owners, these founders that maybe they were wearing the sales cap for their organization and had been doing that for a number of years. And they simply get to a point in their journey with their organization where the sales needs, the sales expertise, the sales knowledge needed surpasses their ability. Perhaps they don't have a sales background. That's a great example of when myself and my fellow advisors get invited in. So what you're seeing right now on this graphic is a suite of services, or what I refer to as a suite of services, that's part of Sales Xceleration's Certified Sales Operating Management System. And it's actually a proprietary collection of tools, resources, and methodologies that we engage with our clients. So the type of engagement where the ICP, Ideal Client Profile, tends to bubble up and the use of KnowledgeNet tends to bubble up is a function of a sales infrastructure engagement. So the ICP, hopefully that's an acronym that means something to everybody on the webinar today. Ideal Client Profile, Ideal Customer Profile. Stated simply, it's what kind of business drives the most value from your products or services, or aligning themselves with you. But I can take it a step further, because there's a variety of attributes you might want to consider when you're looking at an ideal client profile. Some of them are very tangible, measurable. Some of them are more squishy, gut-like checks, emotional type checks. So what I refer to as the hard attributes are things like revenue, gross profit, what industry are they in, what geographic location do they have. Those are all hard attributes that are oftentimes associated with an ICP. Other things that are hard attributes, but maybe aren't necessarily taken into account when you're talking about an ICP is things like, being a little hypothetical here, but maybe you're in some kind of tech industry sector and you've got a call center and there's some kind of tech support required. Maybe you're in the telecom industry and tech support actually means rolling a truck. Maybe you're in the SaaS industry and tech support means, getting the developers involved in writing code. Well, all those things, if there's a high level of support involved, impact overall profitability. So that's an ICP consideration. Believe it or not, something like how well do they pay their bills? Again, I'm being hypothetical, but maybe you've got an ICP or a client, you believe that is an ICP. You've got net 30 payment terms and they're paying their bills in 90 days or 100 days. Well, that represents a carrying cost to your organization. So I think the tendency is to look at an ICP and say, well, that's a sales thing. That, sales team needs to figure that out. Sorry, Todd's humble opinion is this is an organizational-wide conversation for some of the reasons I just mentioned. Do we understand the tech support cost? Do we understand how well they pay their bills, gross profit, that kind of thing? So those are the more hard attributes associated with ICP. Other things that you might want to consider is again, back to what I said early on about what is an ICP, who drives the most value from your products or services, who's aligned the most with your organization. Is there a lot of collaboration going on? Do they feel like a true partner? Those are some other things you would want to consider with an ICP. So this ICP conversation comes up with what we refer to as a sales infrastructure engagement. And there's a variety of things that are oftentimes associated with a sales infrastructure engagement. Tends to be kind of what I refer to as sales 101, 202 things like job description, onboarding plans, comp plans, that kind of thing. But many sales infrastructure engagements have a very specific platform or system aspect to it, and a lead gen, an ICP aspect to it. So this is how we end up having this ICP conversation with the Sales Xceleration clients. Some of the clients understand them, some of them don't. There's certainly been some that have thought they knew what their ICP was, and it turned out after they did kind of a workshop, an analysis, they turned their scope, turned their crosshairs, if you will, in terms of what type of client they should be pursuing. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to do with this ICP is understand the businesses we want to pursue, understand the businesses we want to do business with, and then develop tactics for identifying them, contacting them, and oh, by the way, using an almighty referral to help us get the door open kind of thing. So hypothetically, let's say you understand who your ICP is. You've got an ICP identified. Okay, fantastic. That's the great starting point. That's square one. So now what? So there's a variety of tactics that can be employed. I bet some of these, maybe all these are known to everybody on the webinar today. And conveniently or ironically, I recently gave a presentation to a couple of CEO peer groups. And the broad topic was sales enablement. Well, there was specifically a couple of slides within this presentation that talked about sales enablement roadblocks or sales enablement impediments. And lo and behold, some of these tactics that are on the list we're looking at right now were part of my sales enablement roadblocks or impediments. From the simple fact of they can be, call a spade here, real time sucks in terms of the sales team's effort. The ROI is limited. I'm spending literally hours trying to find ICPs, contact information, leverage referrals, et cetera, and it's got this real diminishing ROI type thing. There's some great tools up here. LinkedIn is a fantastic one. I think I've been on LinkedIn since 2008. I use it almost every day for my practice. But if I'm trying to build a list of 1,000 ICPs, LinkedIn Sales Navigator might not be the best tool. ZoomInfo, used it numerous times in my corporate career. Had some good experiences with ZoomInfo, had some not so good experiences with ZoomInfo. It's not a cheap date. The date is pretty good. I found it to be kind of a revolving door of account managers at ZoomInfo, and you hear from them when it's time to renew, and then you don't hear from them again. So anyway, these are some really common tactics. And they tend to have diminishing returns, and unfortunately, a lot of additional work or tasks can end up on your sales team plate if you're employing tasks like this. So again, just to reiterate some of those other tactics that can be employed, you'd really want to evaluate what kind of return am I getting by using LinkedIn Navigator, Zoom, Google Ads, that kind of thing. As some of the statistics mentioned here, we might be sending out a bunch of emails and getting a low return. We may be using internal or outsourced SDRs and be getting a low return. That last bullet point to me is really interesting. Taking hours to do every day, an average of 8 touches to get in an initial meeting. Now, a little bit of a world according to Todd here, depending upon your source of information, depending upon your metrics, depending upon your situation, I've seen that 8 touches grow as much as all the way up to 20. So it's uncanny to think you got to tap somebody on the shoulder, try to find an ICP, try to find contact information, potentially tap somebody on the shoulder 20 times just to get an initial meeting, an initial conversation kind of thing. And, Ben's going to talk about this in a second, but in a lot of sales training, and this has been going on for decades, is the power of referrals, leveraging somebody to meet somebody new, leveraging somebody to get into a prospective environment. And I've seen some really compelling metrics about how the number of touches decreases if I've got a warm introduction, if I'm able to leverage somebody in my network. I'm sure everybody on the webinar today is familiar with the whole concept of 3 degrees of separation. Stated simply, every one of us is just a few connections away from virtually anybody in the world. And what I've personally experienced when I'm using Ben's platform is I know somebody that knows somebody, and I didn't even know that there was a connection there. And I'm instantly able to use somebody on my network to get to somebody that I didn't even know was connected with somebody close in my network kind of thing. So the power of referrals is really high. It's been taught in sales training for literally decades, but Ben's platform brings it to reality. And again, I really think it impacts that 8 touches metric in a positive manner. Okay, Ben.
Thank you so much, Todd. That's our goal as a company. And what we want to show you today is this alternative way of growing your business and how you can use AI to curate and then deliver 1,000 prioritized warm referrals very quickly in 10 business days. So as a company, that's our mission, to help you grow your business. And we don't want to be a software vendor. We want to provide that impact, and we want to deliver results. And the results that we are delivering is by helping you leverage your relationships. So how does it work? We create an organization for your company, and we add the users, typically the sales team, the people that are contacting customers. They sync their email and their LinkedIn connections to that KnowledgeNet organization, to your secure KnowledgeNet organization. And then we use AI to connect all of this information going back 1 year through your emails and meetings and generate the relationship intelligence, generate the connection paths. And then we leverage this to give you insights and provide you with additional uses of AI. The impact is that we're able to provide for you the warm introductions, who in your network's network can introduce you to that person that you're trying to reach, provide you details of who in your network has changed jobs. Maybe a great customer has gone to work for a new company and you're not aware of that, but we give you that insight so you can follow up with them and make them a customer with their new company. Part of this is that we provide you access to 280 million contacts with very detailed filters that match your ICP. So you can find prospects. And in addition to that, the AI generated email personality profiles. We're able to share with you what customers or prospects have visited your website anonymously. We call that web traffic intelligence. And we can leverage ChatGPT and other technologies to provide customized AI generated emails. So the key part is leveraging relationship intelligence, providing exact information of how you are connected to that prospect through your existing network. And when you identify that prospect, providing you personality intelligence so that you know how to message, how to meet with this prospect in a way that it's going to be most meaningful to them. And then as you are leveraging KnowledgeNet to write emails to them automatically, it's taken into account the personality intelligence and the relationship intelligence to create highly personalized emails to them. But going back to how can we do this in less than 10 days? Prioritize these leads and have your sales team be able to generate revenue in less than 30 days. And the way that we do that is that we use AI to search through 280 million contacts, leveraging the two things that we've been talking about. Your relationships that we build using KnowledgeNet, your ideal customer profile, and then we use AI to prioritize first and deliver these 1,000 leads, every single one of them with a warm introduction. And we deliver these results. We've been working nationwide with Sales Xceleration. We have sales in every corner of the US. We can provide you with reference customers. One of them is CDI Corporation that in less than 4 months, they closed $14 million worth of business, and it all started with KnowledgeNet. So we can give you the contact information of people to talk to. Part of the way that we are working with customers and accelerating is by packaging up these components. So we provide you with licensing of KnowledgeNet for 12 months so that you can use it a la carte fashion and to generate these emails for the prioritized leads. We provide the 1,000 prioritized leads upfront. We allow you to use the web traffic intelligence for a month. And for this entire package, we charge $1,000. Essentially, it's the same cost of subscription fees for a year, but it's at a significant discount. Number one thing that we are helping them upfront with prioritizing their leads and getting them started because they all want to grow their business very quickly. Starting that in less than 30 days shows the most impact. But some of you may not have sales teams, but you still want to start. So KnowledgeNet is priced at $30 per user per month. There's no contract, so you can go month to month. And then once you see value, you could have an annual contract and drop the pricing to $25 per user per month. Let me give you a demonstration of how KnowledgeNet works. Let's say that I am in the plastics industry and I'm an extruder of plastics and I'm looking for customers. Let's say that I want to contact one of them, Nationwide Gutter, so I can sell them extruded plastic gutters. I have the KnowledgeNet Chrome extension here on the right-hand side, and if I click on it, I'm able to see information about Nationwide Gutter. And the first thing I see is that no one in my organization has ever contacted this customer, but my network can introduce me. So Joe English has a 2 degree of separation from Renee Grossman. I can click here and I can see exactly how Joe and I are connected. We've had 7 meetings and 96 emails. And Joe and Renee are connected, and Renee is the founder of Nationwide Gutter. So if I like this connection path and I want to ask Joe for that introduction, all I have to do is click this purple button, write intro email. And it'll package up this relationship intelligence into an email asking Joe to please introduce me to Renee. Once I have been introduced to him, I may want to find out more information about Renee. So if I go to Renee's profile here, I can go to his LinkedIn page. I can click on the information tab. And in the information tab, I can see information like his cell phone number, which I've hidden here because we're on a national webinar. I can click here and get his personality profile, which will help me when I'm going to have a meeting with him so that I can present to him and communicate to him in a way that's going to be most impactful. So if I click here, I'm able to see things that are motivators and drainers for him, the communication style that I should follow, how we should work together, and recommendations of do's and don'ts for meeting and speaking with Renee. None of this is his profile, but I wanted to show you exactly the example of how this would work. If I close this box here, and if I didn't have a connection path, an introduction like from Joe English, I could use AI to write an email. And this isn't just any email. This is a specific one that's coming from me and my role and information about my company. It's going to Renee and information about him and his company. So it customizes that into a custom prompt in ChatGPT, which is embedded in KnowledgeNet. When I click the next button, it generates that email that I can also customize by clicking here and changing the length of the email or changing anything that I want. So there's an automatic draft. Close this box here and show you how to add Renee to my CRM, because this is a prospect that I want to continue with. I can click this list area and then just add them to any one of my CRM systems that I have. And then if I go back to the company itself and I click the information tab here, then I'm able to see things about the company, access all of the employees at the company, and I can use AI to find similar companies. Again, I'm a plastics manufacturer. I'm looking for as many companies as I can. If I click there, it packages up information about Nationwide Gutter and shows me potential alternatives in the market. I can keep asking for 10 more through ChatGPT, or I can use KnowledgeNet to search over 70 million companies and find in the keyword search of gutters, find 3,293 companies nationwide that focus on gutters. The other thing I could do would be to search people. We have actually now 280 million contacts with the detailed filtering that I mentioned earlier, that you're able to find people in industries and by job role and title to help you grow your business. So thank you for letting me provide an overview of KnowledgeNet and a demo. Todd, I'll turn it back over to you now.
Fantastic. So a little while ago, I was talking about sales infrastructure engagements and how, depending upon the actual deliverables, the statement of work can vary quite a bit. But again, a lot of sales infrastructure engagements are inclusive of lead gen needs, and that's typically where Ben and company are introduced to. Once we've got that ICP formalized, okay, now how are we going to go about targeting them, knock on the doors, can we leverage referrals, that kind of thing. And, it's probably a function of me being visual, but the relationship, Matt, Ben, that might be my favorite feature of your entire platform. Because like I said a little while ago, I've got connections, maybe second or third degree connections I didn't realize I even had until I start, leveraging your tool, and I'm able to tap people on shoulders for introductions. So we've got this robust, comprehensive suite of services. It just got an addition. The overall suite of services we refer to as the Certified Sales Operating Management System. Well, there was just an addition made to that suite of services, and it's known as Framework. And it's a strategic sales planning methodology. It's proprietary, unique to Sales Xceleration. Sales Xceleration has played in the sales strategy space for a while, but it was candidly kind of up to Todd as an advisor or my teammates as individual advisors to map out that strategy. Well, now we all have a framework and a methodology that we can leverage to bring about a sales strategy to each one of our clients. It flies at a little higher level than perhaps sales infrastructure engagements, which tend to be pretty sales team specific and tactical in nature, where courtesy of framework, we're really taking a step back and identifying what is our overall sales operational strategy? What are the associated revenue goals? We walk through an exercise known as talent mapping. So we're assessing our current team against our desired skill set based on our overall strategy. We might have the right team, perhaps we don't have the right folks on the bus in the right seat type thing. So that would become part of the overall strategy. Perhaps there's a skill or knowledge gap that needs to be addressed as part of the strategy. And certainly tying it back to Ben's platform, perhaps we've got some kind of growth strategy in mind. Maybe it's in conjunction with a new product launch. Maybe it's in conjunction with a geographic expansion. Fantastic. If that's our overarching strategy, what kind of KPIs are we going to associate with that strategy? And then we finally get back down into the weeds of the tactics. Okay, we've got an ICP defined, but what are the tactics to actually engage those folks, have meetings with those folks, that kind of thing. So what happens as part of the framework, we get into this kind of regular cadence of meetings. There's some groundbreaking sessions that initially help us build our strategy. And then on a quarterly and annual basis, we're basically monitoring those KPIs, monitoring our revenue goals. We kind of get into this agile cycle of reviewing the strategy and refining the strategy as we go. So that's an exciting new offering at Sales Acceleration. Okay, Ben, I think we're ready for some Q&A.
Yeah, let's see if there's any questions. I do see one that was earlier. How long does it take to get started using KnowledgeNet? And the answer is that in less than 5 minutes, I can create that KnowledgeNet organization for you and invite your users. Your users can start using KnowledgeNet instantly to get contact information, search for people, the 270 million contacts. And then in just a couple of minutes, they can set up and sync their emails and their LinkedIn. And that'll start building the relationship maps that we've been talking about that Todd is really fond of, and so am I. And because we live where they work, there's little to no training, but we do offer that. So we'll do the onboarding and make sure they're successful. Let me stop sharing here and go back to Todd and I and see if there's any other questions that anyone has.
Sorry, I can't say enough about the relationship map. Again, it's my favorite feature. So again, I've uncovered connections that I didn't even realize I had, Ben. But what takes it the step further is, this is Todd speak here, the relationship history, the number of emails that have been exchanged, having employment in common in the past. Had no idea of some of those aspects of a relationship prior to spending time on your platform.
Yeah, it's like you were saying that with the degrees of separation, how we can really be connected. So if a customer is using KnowledgeNet, even if they have 6 people, there's usually over 1 million interactions in the relationship brain. Doesn't mean they send 1 million emails. There's 1 million interactions of people that they're connected to, that from there it grows to the 3rd degree of separation that they can be connected to. So it really is amazing. Hope everybody has a chance to experience it.
Well, and I talked a little while ago about the number of touches and how important it is to have a referral to drive down the number of touches. And there's some compelling metrics about that, but it ties so well into the basis, the driver behind having an ICP. We're trying to drive up our sales close rate and compact the sales cycle time, and a good referral does that. The door gets kicked open on your behalf almost instantaneously if you got a good referral versus a cold contact. You might be knocking on that door 20 times before it opens.
Yeah. So I have 2 additional questions here, Todd. One of them is asking that they have a referral partner from a different company. Both are solo shops. Can they join together and utilize the 1000 Quick Start program? Absolutely. We'll work with you on that. So thanks for that offer. I'll give Todd your information so we can follow up. And the other one is a client of Todd's with a sales playbook already. I'm eager to learn more about how I can leverage that asset. Sign me up. So that's another one.
Well, this was fun, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everybody for joining today. Like I was saying, we'll send all of you the recording. Todd, thank you very much for joining me. Hope everybody has a great day.
Yeah. Happy Tuesday.